Having a good night. Gonna paint this lady tonight. Where is she? Come here. The Bard. So I'm gonna grab, I don't know, we'll take a mix of these two. Just to get, I like to just get some color down on them. Yeah, that's why. So I'm gonna use some Express paint / contrast paint, whatever you want to call it. Same difference. Just a mix of brown. In order to just like get a rough color down that I can build on top of. She's got a lot of, she's gonna have a lot of brown on her anyways, so like leather and things, it's easy, I think, just to get like a general color on her. Help pick out some of these details, and then we can just build different intermediate tones on top of that, like a mix between the two. You could think of it like a wash. I think of it like, you know, just kind of tinting everything just to get a rough starting point. But yeah, she has quite a lot of detail. How's everyone doing this evening? See, like areas way back in here, like this stuff way back, like underneath her, it's not that important, right? So we don't have to go crazy trying to figure that stuff out. Just let it be dark. And like behind her, the harp here, she's got all this little detail that's like back behind the harp, right? That can just be dark. Don't overthink it. If you can barely see it, then just let it be. Hey dude, if all goes well with registration Friday, we will spend a lot of time together. Nice. And thanks to everyone about the book. Appreciate it. Glad you guys like it. Okay, how much earth tones? So the actual art for her, and I'll post it in the chat real quick so you guys can take a look. Just so you can kind of see what she looks like. She is the... Oops. She is the second from the right. They did her very earth tony. Like everything is just earth tones. I don't know if I want to do quite that much. I might add some color here and there. I think maybe like a bluish, some kind of pale blue, even purplish tone, like lilac could be a nice complementary color to all of the kind of earthy browns. I don't want to do her like super blue. So I'll grab some kind of like neutral blues here. They're nice. Right, so I can take some of this, maybe some of the purple. Actually, I might just skip the middle blue for a moment and just go purple. You see, it makes a very similar color to that middle one. Andy is definitely a short king. He's not a super tall guy. We have a kind of joke in the miniature painting world that like if you want to be a top mini painter, you either got to be really tall or really short. There's no in between. There's no average height mini painters. Because if you've never met Kirill, he's like 6'5" or 6'6". Sorry, man. Doomed to live in obscurity. What up, Noah? Yeah, I think this works. Some kind of like soft blue tone. Sam Lenz, dude's tall as heck. Steve Garcia, short king. No, because of the whole thing with no, Christoph's like 6'3" or 6'4". Yeah, he's like roughly my height. Oops, got a little blue where I didn't want it. Let's get that off real quick. And I think maybe we'll do the hat blue too. Will's like 6'1", maybe. I don't know. If you're shorter than me, I don't pay too much attention. Patrick Masson is like super short too. Mark's pretty tall. Albert's pretty short. Tui's short, dude. Tui is not very tall. I've never met Dave, actually. I've never met Dave Caldwell in person, so I don't know. Oh, David Rubb is super short. Yvonne Hortel, super short. Albert's short. Banshee is average. Banshee is he's the exception to the rule. I think if you're between 5'6" and 6 foot, you're average. That's pretty average height. Fabrizio Russo's very tall. Francesco Farabi, short. Ricardo is tall. Ricardo's like 6'3". Ricardo is quite tall for an Italian. Tebow, short. I think I told this story, but when I flew into Amsterdam for the first time, the Dutch are super tall. In general, just like Dutch people are really tall. Okay, hold on. I'll get to the scanning. Uh, I had never felt so average in an airport in my life. Like, just walking around Shreveport Airport, I was like, what is this? Why are there so many people my height? I went to the Danish are not super tall. Ben Comets is quite tall also. I don't remember how tall he is, but he's up there. Roman's really tall. I think that's good on the blue for right now, just in terms of. Nah, Matt's pretty average. All right. So get a general just color down on that just to get a feeling for it. And then we can. Oh, I need to turn up my volume so I can hear. Matt Wood 15, thanks. Thanks for following. Grab some of this. Marco's pretty. I think he's pretty average height. He's like 5'8" or something. 5'9" maybe. No, it's hard. That height range is really hard for me. There's a thing that happens when you're really tall, where everyone that's shorter than you, unless they're like really short, you're just kind of like, I don't know. It's not until you look at someone face to face because you're not used to it that you're like, holy crap, this guy's super tall. Like when I hang out with Christian, it's like, oh, Christian's really tall, and I'm like, oh, we're like the same height. All right, we're going to put just like a base coat of warm flush down. Yeah, I imagine it's like you're so used to just like viewing everything from the same perspective that when you come into contact with someone who's like eye to eye with you, you're like, this dude's pretty short, right? My mom used to make the pro wrestling gear for the dude who played Sabretooth. He had to duck through doors. Dude, I've seen some people. When I was a kid, our pastor, when I went to church as a kid, our pastor was like 6'10" or something. My cousin is 6'8". He's 6 foot -4. Yeah, I like it. Height has nothing to do with anything. I just, well, besides, basketball and certain other sports. I just find it a funny observation that, like, in many paintings, who you would consider, like, just the top painters, right, are either really short or really tall. Oh, Hironi is quite tall also. Hironi. Hero Miniatures. Dude, airplanes suck as a tall person. I hate it. That's why my desk is up high. I have it's not a standing desk, it's like a workbench that I can crank up and down. I guess I could make it a standing desk, but it's not like a motorized one. And it sits higher up. And my chair also has like a higher, like it's an adjustable, right? Like, I don't know where the button is, but because I never move it, but it's, an office chair that goes up and down. And it's always on max like height. Yeah, I don't know what my desk height is. It is higher than average though. It's even worse on European economy flights. I don't know what the like average distance is between rows, but I'm pretty sure it's shorter on European economy. Okay, So let's see, anywhere up, there's a little bit back here. I've always liked this figure. This is also the I quite like playing this character in Kingdom Death, the like support character. I think they're pretty fun. Is her hands? Yes. Okay. Well, that makes, honestly, it kind of makes sense. Dude, I'm all about that economy plus life, you know? Give me those extra 2 inches of leg room. Give me that comfort plus. I'm not even gonna do though, like back here, like in between, try and get the skin. I'll probably just leave it dark brown. Like she's got some kind of the art shows that she has like gaps in the armor here, and that you can see her skin. But this is like such a pain to get to. I don't really want to even bother, so I'll just leave it like she has some kind of bracer on the inside. Okay. Let's double check just to make sure everything's nice and clean before moving on. Okay, something like that. Okay, so now we can take some more of the pinky flesh. I like going through this kind of like deep red to pink to kind of yellowish. I think it works well for this sort of anime skin. If you look at the reference artwork, it's kind of how they're doing it. No, these are just Vallejo. It's just cavalry brown, rosy flesh, I think is what it is, and then sunny skin tone. But normally I would, fully, often like fully mix my own skin tones, but for something like this where there's not a whole lot going on. She doesn't have that much exposed flesh. I don't have to overthink it. I don't need to try and make like all kinds of subtle variations and things, right? Just trying to get it painted. Just want it to look good for gaming, you know? So I kind of start to build up the volumes here. How about you guys? So she's the support archetype, right? You guys have a favorite kind of character to play in any sort of co-op games when you play D&D or Kingdom Death or any kind of like online party-based, MMO? You got a favorite archetype, healer, support, DPS, tank? I'm normally more of a DPS guy, but I find support pretty fun in Kingdom Death. I like playing the ranged character too. But in Kingdom Death, the archer is sort of a support role because they have like arrows that cause various debuffs and things, so they can be like, they're kind of a support. Also, because they're ranged, they can trigger like different monster attacks and things. They work as a good distraction. I like jungler in League. I think that was my favorite role. Which is sort of a support. You're a support DPS typically. There's a little skin back here. Very difficult to get to. All right. Healer is extremely uncommon for a role in Kingdom Death. It's not really a thing. Like, there is one way to create like a doctor character, but it's sort of rare and requires a lot of prep. It's not a wouldn't really call it like an archetype. It's more like a special class kind of build. Like, I guess Monster Hunter, you don't really have a healer in Monster Hunter. All right, this is very tiny. trying to get her face. Much smaller than the faces we've been painting recently. Is the hunting horn really a healer? I mean, I guess. It's a support for sure, but is it really a healer? I don't know. I never played hunting horn, so well, I never actually played Monster Hunter, but I've watched my roommate play a lot. Hi, Walter. Getting ready to stream over there, guy. We're trying to just paint something fast and fun today. Just get something knocked out, you know? And next week, I've got some models coming in. So maybe we'll have a new, longer project to work on next week. Oh, get off of there. The hands on the lantern are stone. See all the hands? Those aren't I mean, they're human hands, but it's like a statue. They're not flesh hands. Uh-oh, Walter, careful. This could determine your entire future as a miniature painter. They're not a dead person's hands. They're stone. It's too bad, Walter. You're just going to have to try twice as hard. It's a correlation does not equal causation. No, there's an average height disadvantage. You have to be tall or short. You have to, it's extremes. And one day we'll go to war with each other and you'll have to decide which side you're on. I think Arnau's pretty average, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. Good evening, Dim. All right. Getting there on the skin. Doesn't take, just place some color, blend it out a little bit. Maybe. Coming in with 6-foot-inch platform shoes with fish in the heels. Some fish tank shoes. This made me think of Superbad with Jonah Hill's like trying to. No, that's not Superbad. It's 40-Year-Old Virgin where he's trying to buy the platform shoes from the we sell your stuff on eBay store. He's like, I don't get it. I just want to buy these shoes. Some rhinestone platform boots. Hell yeah, dude. Some platform shoes that are resin poured and you make your own diorama in them. That'd be sick. Just walk up to the judges and be like, bam, these are my entry. I'm all about seeing some more goofy entries. Some more weird gimmicky entries. Never seen anyone do a snow globe. I thought about trying to do a snow globe once. I'm sure it's been done, but I wanted to do a snow globe of the when was it Mantic released the Hellboy game, and they released like a Santa Claus Hellboy figure. I wanted to do a Hellboy snow globe, but you could do it with like the GW goblins too. That's a free idea for anyone who cares, and you can buy your own snow globe kits on like Amazon and stuff. I don't know if they're any good, but just throwing it out there, if anybody wants to go for it. You can have that one. Yeah, you could do that too, Scott. That could be cool. Do a Space Wolf snow globe. That'd be pretty neat. Do a little shadow from her hat. I'd be fine with it. If there was a whole bunch, I don't care. I don't have time to do it, so someone else do it, and we'll see how it goes. The big thing I was worried about is like, would it mess up the paint? But I looked into it. Nope, it's fine. It won't. You're good. I mean, they have to paint all the, the stuff that goes in actual snow globes or something. I might be cautious and seal it first, but I'm not even going to read that out loud, Scott. That's ridiculous. Okay. Next layer. More light. This one you don't need a whole, this layer doesn't need a whole lot. This is just to give like little highlights to the skin at the end. So I kind of just place it where I want it to be, and then we'll blend it in a little bit. So we got the little shadow. Got a little touch of light there. A little Rembrandt light, you know? A little Rembrandt. And we'll take that, we'll thin, nice and thin it down. And then just a subtle glaze. See ya, Walter. Okay. Mess that up a little bit, but that's okay. We can grab some of this blue and the little blue in the cavalry brown. Makes a real nice, like dark, super dark tone, almost black. We can go back in and define in between these fingers. Hi, Metalovich. How are you? Okay, something like that. I have no idea what these are supposed to be. I guess they're leather. I know she's got white lion fur all over her. Maybe it's just like some kind of rawhide. It's really hard to tell what like these little plates are supposed to be. Maybe some kind of leather. I don't know. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a little more of the brown. I'm good. Just getting a little quick tabletop mini done, you know. No, I'm into the KDM also. I just don't find a whole lot of time to paint them. I've also done some work for Big John, you know. I did some of the heck was the name? The Marvel Crisis. No, Marvel United. Wanted to say Marvel Crisis Protocol, but that's a different game. Where else do we have big pieces of leather? Probably around here. I'm just going to say this is leather. I don't know what it's supposed to be, so it's leather now. I mean, I know the belt is. We just make these dark brown. Doesn't really matter that much, and then we can apply some lights later to, you know, differentiate the materials. Hi, cat attack. Cat attack. Hello. How are you? Yeah, like back here, whatever. This is all like super dark anyway, so who cares? Thanks. So now I'm feeling, well, I don't know. I kind of like the blue on her hat. I was like, should it be leather? Should it not? fine. I like the little bit of blue to help break it up, you know. I have a question. How do you deal with overwhelming minis? I wanted to paint Radigan from Nautilus Miniatures, but I freaked out. Too many details for my small level of painting. Let me see what this figure looks like. Okay, he's a rat guy. I don't think he's that detailed. I mean, he's got a lot of like little leather straps and things, but you approach them like all the little holes and textures. You just ignore the texture. You make your own texture, and then you know, you paint it, and then you just work your way up to the details. It's about the big picture first, right? If you can break it down, let it be the big picture, then you slowly work your way into to doing the small details. Right? Don't get lost in the sauce, if you know what I mean. It's not actually like that. They changed the sculpt. Her sculpt is not exactly like the artwork. In the artwork, she has cleavage showing through the shirt, and on the actual figure, she does not. Interesting. Okay. Just applying some lights to the blue just to get a better feeling for the color. Now, are her boots supposed to be metal or leather? I mean, she has like no other metal on her. So I think I might just do them leather. I don't know, it's weird. They feel like they should be metal. But It's a small detail. We're not going to worry about it. Okay, I'm going to take a quick couple-minute break, and then I'll be back in a few, and we can start working on some this like different bone and let's see. Need something for the bone. Let's grab. Well, we're gonna have some dark sand. Like this is like a kind of neutral light tan. We'll grab off-white for the fur. And for the bone, it's olive brown. Okay. So I'm going to just assume that these little plates on the front are bone. This is bone. This is obviously bone. The hat actually extends up. Let's fix that real quick. All right. So we can make a nice kind of gray, warm gray here. As a like kind of starting point. We're going to leave the brown, like the really dark brown in the shadows. When you're dealing with two different materials like this, like leather and or bone and white fur, I think it's good to try and like separate the sort of mid-tone, since they're both going to be really white, like towards the highlights. If we can kind of change the mid-tone, we're able to distinguish the two a little better. Hi, Debrock. Something like that. And then, what else is bone? Obviously the hat. Really don't need to do much to the teeth here. That's mostly just going to be highlights. Okay. So we get a kind of gray down, and then we can just keep adding more of this tan. Can kind of use little tiny lines to create a bit of striation in the bone. This one's mostly in shadow, so here I just need to create some definition on the edge. And the little claws. that's part of the hat. Oops, whatever. Okay. What other part? Here, over here, somewhere. Right, just little bits of edge highlights on this stuff. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be like super fancy, right? We're just trying to create definition. As long as it's looks well defined, right? I'm not trying to paint some award-winning figure here. I want it to look good when you look at it like this, right? Then it can look good from here. But first it needs to look good from here. Always thinking about, what's the purpose, right? What's the goal for this figure? And if you can create a nice looking figure in a short amount of time, you get more figures painted. If you're painting for gaming, right? Any reason, Minimancer, that you get frustrated with 32 after painting 75s and stuff? Or is it just because they're small? Wow. You're trying to, you're probably trying to be too fancy. It's like, I'm not trying to be super fancy here. I just want to I just want to make things look clear and well defined. Yep. Go back to the question, what's the goal? What's the purpose, right? I think I want to do her shirt. I know it doesn't really make sense to do it bone, but I kind of like the, maybe I'll make it blue, actually. Maybe I'll just do it like strips of cloth. I think that might work. I think it will look good to help separate the waist and the shirt. Yeah, that works. I don't really know what's going on with the shirt, but what it is, what kind of material it's supposed to be, but if it looks okay, then that works for me. Right now it kind of looks like it goes underneath, and then the waist belt kind of goes over top of it. I think that functions just fine. We can use this as like a wash. Get some of that detail back in there. Yeah, dude, it's lore accurate. I'm trying to win some awards with this. I'm not. Who cares? We're just having fun, you know? Also, I think there's something to be said about having your figure being nice and identifiable on the table. I think that's all fur. Yeah, that's all fur. Oh, sorry, man. I didn't realize we were only here for Golden Demon Skinks. I'll get back to it. Let's grab some Parasite Brown, whatever. So like an orangish brown, right? Color. The name of the color is not important. An orangish brown. And we could start doing some of the lining on the leather. Right, just getting a little. You can see it's quite similar to the sort of tone we already had. So here I'm just kind of getting some general lights on the leather. This is further going to help us sort of this orangish tone. One, it complements the blue really well. And two, it helps further separate from the more grayish tone of the bone. I think actually instead of that, I might use some of this. It's very similar in color, but slightly more orange. Right, we'd use that just to right, we're just creating some definition. And if we have to go back and line some things, that's fine. You can do both. No, it's about knowing when to push, right? But speed painting your army can also teach you to be faster. It's just like it's not going to push your thinking, right? Just repeating the same stuff over and over again, but it will help like muscle memory and brush control and things like that. But being too into your comfort zone is definitely not going to make you necessarily improve your painting. That's why, like, just generic guys, like, who cares? Those just get done. Then on, like, some of your fancier models, you can spend a little extra time, push yourself. Yeah, Minimancer, or who said that? Is that Minimancer? No. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's a bad mindset to have because that's only going to lead to disappointment if you paint something that you don't think is your best figure, right? Like, yeah. Not all of them are going to be to the same level. Hi, Jonas. Jonas is shorter, on the shorter side, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Where is... I know I have one of the inks over here. I say ink, it's like an ink. The wood grain? Where's the wood grain at? No, that's flat brown. Wood grain. This is like it's even stronger. But it's like a brown, dark brownish red ink that slightly more matte. It's not quite as glossy. So it's nice, and I can even mix just a touch of the blue into that to kind of change the color closer to like an actual black. I don't use much Daleroni. I mean, I have them. Right, I've got them, but I don't use them all the time. They're kind of for specific stuff. Okay. I'm going to take just some of this, a little bit more, just a couple of spots. Oh, we can do it on the back here. The gloves. Okay. Fur. Fur. What do we want to do? The white lion fur. I kind of want like a slightly more warm gray than that. That's too greenish. Where'd it go? Am I blind? I think I might be. Here we go. So this one, right? This brown is like just a bit more, right? You see the difference? One's slightly more greenish. You'll be able to tell more when I go like this. Right? This feels slightly more greenish. This is slightly more reddish toned. Almost purpley. And that's how we're going to be able to better separate the white fur from the bone. Yes, I go to Adepticon every year. I will be there. Teaching classes, doing a book signing. What else? Doing a demo. I'll be doing a painting demo at Big Child. I'll be around. Maybe I'll. What am I signing? A book? A book signing? Where have you been? Where have you been? Dude, I barely ever sign my own models unless people ask. Other than that, at Adepticon, I'll be finding a quiet place to hang out. It was okay. I'm not much of a writer, but I don't know. I think it turned out pretty well, and it was a fun experience. I don't know if I'd want to do it again. I know I certainly wouldn't want to do one like Khalil's book for AK. That's crazy to me. That's so much work. Like Arnau and Carrillo did their FAQ books. Oh, they're great. They're really cool. I just know I personally would. That's a little too much for me. Speaking of the books, you guys saw that Sam, Joshua Lai, and Roman Lapat got announced as the next set. Should be a good one. How long did it take me? In terms of hours or like actually writing it? Because like months. Because less than a year, but. Have they included Sergio Calvo, Banshee, or Mark Masklins? No. Has there been a Spanish painter? I don't think so. No? Banshee basically already has one. He has one from AK, right? Look very similar. Or not AK, Scale 75 published his book. Colorful Mind, if I remember correctly. I have it back here somewhere. It's somewhere on my bookshelf. But yeah, Banshee already has one. Mark would be an interesting one. Maybe he'd be interested. I don't know. Maybe for the series after. Mark is also very busy with working on his school, his academy, and everything, so it does take up quite a bit of time. Yeah, I'd say it took me about on and off writing a couple months, working on it in between projects and things. One of the big things was that, like, because I have to photograph all my figures for, box arts and things, I already had, like, the photography was basically already done. I just had to go back and photograph a few things again. But, like, all of that was already good, so I had all that stuff already. Any up and comers you are aware of to keep an eye out for? Yeah, you should watch out for this guy named Jonas Michael B. He's improving quite quickly. Other, like, up and coming artists. Oh, that's a good question. I'm sure there's some I'm just not thinking of at the moment. There's a couple of David Aroba's students that are doing some professional work now that are really good. I don't know if you could consider him still up and coming, but Thibaut Ram, I guess he's still up and coming. I mean, he's won some pretty big, some pretty nice awards at this point, but I think he's still relatively new. I mean, I'm relatively new, and you compare me to, like, some of the guys that have been around for a while. When you do box arts, do you do the pictures yourself and send them to the companies, or do they typically have you ship the model back? No, no matter what, even if I ship the model back to them, I always photograph the miniature first, because you have to, like, in case it gets damaged or lost in transport, always have at least the photos as backup. So yes, I always take the photos of the figures myself and I send them to the companies. Hi, Waxy Sandwich. Okay. Find this a little bit more on the side. Don't let it get to your head, Jonas. You got a long way to go. Who that? JC Paints, hello, welcome. I'm not judging. I'm, as far as I'm aware, they haven't asked me to. So I'll just be entering. No, he's got his own thing now. He's got his own academy. And he doesn't really do box arts anymore. He kind of just teaches and does collector commissions. I mean, maybe very occasionally he might do a box art, but he's got his own brand and night. All right, let's go a little bit further on the bone, particularly on the skull. Don't have to do too much more, but it does need a little bit of kind of final highlighting. Hi, Chromium. This is from Kingdom Death Monster. It is Echoes of Death 2. She's called the Bard. She is pretty cool, I think. don't know if she's not my favorite Kingdom Death figure, but she's quite neat. I've said it before, but I'd love for them to do an all-male Echoes of Death. They've done 4 sets now of all-female figures. And it's like, yeah, that's cool, but I now have way more interesting female figures than I have male figures, and you kind of want to be 50-50 in the game. This is just a personal project. This is just for fun. I don't do commissions and stuff like this. I don't do Warhammer commissions, or there's a million people that, do Warhammer commissions and stuff. This is the kind of stuff I do just for fun. It's fun to relax and just, casually throw some paint on a model. So far. Give me to the land down under. For sure. It's going in the cabinet. I'm a gamer, guys. I game. I've been known to throw some dice. I hear when you fly into Australia, they ask you at customs, they've asked you if you've committed any crimes. And if you say no, they won't let you in. Or more, yeah, there's more fur back here. There's always more fur. What am I talking about? You guys are making sense. I mean, I've heard the knifey spoony reference before, but I was never a big Simpsons guy. I liked Futurama better. Give him the clamps. Is that supposed to be fur or hair? I can't tell. What is considered Golden Age Simpsons? Like, how far back is that? We talking Three-Eyed Fish, Treehouse of Horror Simpsons, or okay, season 3 through 10. I don't know what Tempest is. Is that I'm assuming you're talking about some Infinity tournament or something. I have not played Infinity in like 5 years or something. It's been a while. What do I want to do? The strings? he drew them kind of gray, but that doesn't really make sense for the... They're supposed to be like whiskers. I'm just going to do them kind of light. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to just throw another wash of darker color kind of on here in the back. Just help separate this more. Bone or whatever, who knows. I'm assuming bone. Metal in Kingdom Death is not common. If I was a crazy person, I would have cut all these out and replaced them with little tiny thread. Super tiny wire. Make it more scale accurate. Like, isn't there that Slanesh model with the harp? Like a person harp? Yeah. Yeah, if I was doing that for Golden Demon, that's what I'd do. I'd replace it. Cut it all out and be a crazy person. fish line. I'd probably, if it's stationary like that, like, because you've got two kind of things, I'd probably use steel wire, like really thin steel wire. There's this stuff I use for bowstrings called Easy Line. It's normally for like ship rigging. It's got some elasticity to it. That stuff's pretty good too, but it's not round. Bowstring isn't round anyways. It's like coiled. That is, cat whiskers is quite literally what this harp is supposed to be made from. Made from lion whiskers. Off-white is a little thin. I'm going to go with ivory. Ivory. There's a bit of dried paint in the cap, you guys. Ivory has a little bit better coverage, I feel like. Also, this one is completely empty. Just throw it away. Hi, Dead Sky. And Peluca Paints. Raid, thank you. Welcome. And Skull Joel. Hi, welcome. Yeah, so ivory, I feel like of these two, the off-white and the ivory just has a bit better coverage. Oh, hello, what were you doing? Okay, get some of that fur. Paint the fur around her neck. And now I am trying to like kind of concentrate the light a little closer to the front and her face, right? I'm not so worried about some of the furs way in the back. Just do a little bit brighter around here just so that it kind of like draws you towards the face. Okay. Got some work left to do on the face also. I mean, we got to paint the details on the face. I don't know. You guys have seen me paint tiny eyes before. Don't really feel like trying to paint her eyes on camera. You want to see tiny eyes, go back and watch one of the old videos. Watch the last Kingdom Death video where we painted the Honorable Berserker. See, by just using, I mean, we generally used like different, right? This and this for the bone, and then kind of this for the fur. Like, you can clearly see that there's like a subtle difference in color between the two, and it helps distinguish them. It's raining pretty good outside. It's probably too quiet for you guys to hear it, but I'm actually kind of shocked it's not a thunderstorm because it has been oddly warm today. Okay. Any other little details I want to do before kind of calling it? Because I think like you guys get the general idea. I'm gonna have to paint the base and the few other details, but let's take a little of the blue, just a touch, you know, nothing fancy. And grab a little bit of the ivory and the black. Make it kind of bluish gray. Highlight some of those little rings. Oh, she's got little earrings too. Those are very tiny. I'll goof around with those when I go to do the face. And a bit more ivory. Paint, see? Get these little loops looking right. Who's that? Resta Roxana. Hello, welcome. And a couple little spark highlights. Just to make it a little shiny. All right, anything else? Let's see. I got a little touch of skin back here that I want to put a little color onto. Just a little bit of light on that. This I kind of need to paint the dagger. The Night Flyer, hello. And then a lot of this guy's got to get all blacked in. This is all stone and vines and things. But it'll help, I don't know, make it a little clearer what's going on if I just put some black on it real quick. I think there's actually more of her little skirt back here. Whatever, that's fine. It's all good. Okay. Yeah. Think you guys kind of get it, right? Obviously, I have to come in and clean up the face. Or finish the details of the face and do a few other small little details, but and do the base. But in, what was that? 2 hours and 40 minutes, we got that far, right? Another hour and a half or so, and basically be done. So the kind of the point is, you don't have to go crazy trying to do everything like super detailed. Sometimes you can just make a pretty good effect. Make a clean, effective miniature for gaming without having to spend all day. Sure. You can see, like, should look like this. Now I might consider coming back in and making some small adjustments to the blue. And yes, the painting the face will help, but this is what she'll look like on the table. Really more like this, but and if I want to go in and push contrast anywhere, I can do that. But be clean and effective. There's probably some details I'm not even seeing. Like I just noticed this. These little rings also come out from here. There's some stuff I'll have to look at with glasses on to be like, oh, I didn't see these. But if you can't see them at a distance, do they really matter? Anyways, that's the Bard. Yeah, just paint it fast and make it look good. What's the problem?